Good afternoon. Welcome back to Passionate World Talk Radio Network. PWTRN is a wholly owned subsidiary of Global Media Network LLC to educate, to enlighten, to entertain. And today on Scam DamNation with your host Lillian Cauldwell, we're going to be doing a two-parter and starting it today and then next week finishing up. And we're going to be talking about voter registration scam and election scam. They pretty much are married or shake hands, so I thought we would do it in two parts. The first one is about what they're warning the general population about for the scams that are now circulating and coming along with the presidential election of 2024. So, what do you need to know? That scammers are posing as get out the vote groups and a fake text messages, are that the experts are asking that you verify any and all communications from local election officials. Or, here's a good one, did you get a text message saying you aren't registered to vote? Well, be careful, my friend. It could be a scam. With the new 2024 elections for presidential candidates, officials in several states are warning about scammers pretending to be voter registration agencies. Voter registration fraud is one of the three most common scams during an election cycle, alongside cons involving political donations and fake polls, according to the National Association of Secretary of State. Scammers contact their victims by phone, text, or email, sometimes in person, to say they need personal information to update voter registration forms. In Shasta County, California, the county clerk and election officials warned last week that a text message asking recipients to click a link to register to vote was a scam. So if you live in Lake County, Florida, you should know that there is a scam going on. The county supervisor, Alan Hayes, told residents to, quote, be vigilant this election cycle for political scams that can mislead unsuspecting individuals into a frightful experience that can be difficult to overcome, end of quote. And clerks in Salt Lake City, Utah, and San Francisco, California have also issued similar warnings as well. The National Association of Secretaries of State says voters should check to see if the communication is coming from local or election officials and be wary if anyone asks for payment to complete voter registration. The Federal Trade Commission recommends reporting any unsolicited texts or calls from someone who says they need your social security number or personal or financial information to register you to vote. If you send your personal information to someone you don't know and think you may be a victim of a scam, you can visit the FTC's identity theft recovering page to report the fraud. The FTC also goes on to recommend contacting your local election office or checking the U.S. Election Assistance Commission's National Voter Registration Form to determine whether your state requires your social security number for voter registration. And then the AARP has come out with an article written by Ken Budd who recommends that there are 4 common election scams to avoid this year. So you should be aware of that as well. Michael Brummer, 65, shopped for a Christmas tree at Kiwanis lot near his Austin, Texas home. This is an example. A voter registration volunteer approached him with an iPad, wanting to register him for the next election. The registration ploy was a scam, but unknown to the scammer, Brummer apparently was not an easy target. He's a fraud expert and vice president of data breach resolution for Experian, a data analytics and consumer credit reporting company. Brummer quickly noticed misspellings on the supposed registration page. And he said, quote, "First of all, I'm already registered to vote. And second, your site is fake." The person who was trying to scam him stammered, but quickly recovered. Then Brummer says the guy asked him for his phone so he could download a registration app. And Brummer says, "I'm sorry, sir, you're not going to download anything." And that was 2 years ago. Scammers have only grown since then, and they've grown more sophisticated because of advances in the availability of artificial intelligence. And they're likely to use this year's election, 2024, to target your data and cash. Here are 4 common scams and ways to protect yourself. 1, the voter registration scams. When the scammer offered to download a voter registration app on Brummer's phone, he would have downloaded a malicious app instead, allowing cyber criminals to steal personal data such as payment information, login credentials. And some of these apps can suck people's information over Wi-Fi or Bluetooth. Something you need to keep in mind, not to hand your phone just to anybody. The more common problem, however, involves links to fake voter registration forms which scammers send by phone, email, or text. Those links may be phishing, phishing scams, to collect personal data such as your passwords and social security number for themselves or to allow others to access your devices, according to Experian. And this is ways to protect yourself. If someone claims you're not registered to vote and offers to register by phone, hang up or simply delete it. You cannot register by phone, email, or text. And all 50 states, you can only register to vote online, by mail, or in person at a local election office. The safest option is to register at a government location or do so by mail. If you do register online, do not use unsolicited links. Voter registration drives often occur at events such as festivals and farmers markets, and sometimes the filled out forms are left on tables where anyone can see them. The Identity Theft Resource Centers warns, a better option is to take a form, fill it out, and mail it or deliver it in person to an election office. Robocalls, we all get them. Regular phones, cell phones, tablets, by Gmail, by text. There are a plethora of ways to do it. Days before the January New Hampshire primary, as many as 25,000 Granite State residents received a robocall from what sounded like Joe Biden, but was actually an AI-generated voice. The message, don't vote. Your vote makes a difference in November, not this Tuesday, the fake Biden said. In response, the Federal Communications Commission issued a declaratory ruling in February that made voice cloning technology used in common robocalls scams illegal. Despite the reading, voters should remain on high alert for AI generated calls. The one genre of misinformation I'm most worried about for the election is fake audio, says Dan Oven, Senior Manager of Education Design for the News Literary Project. With video, he says, visual clues can help indicate it's a fake, such as speeches where the words don't match the candidate's mouth. With a robocar, there's not so many obvious red flags to indicate when something is false. Scammers can use fake audio for multiple purposes, from spreading misinformation to directing voters to a fraudulent donation site. How do you protect yourself? Be suspicious of robocalls and confirm whether the information is accurate. If a robocall tells you that your polling place will be closed on election day, for example, don't believe it. Instead, follow up with your local election office. If you receive a suspicious call from someone trying to influence your vote, the best thing is to just hang up, notes a consumer alert from North Carolina Attorney General Josh Stein. And never, ever trust a robocall that directs you to donate, Broomer advises. Be skeptical of unexpected calls from someone claiming to be a politician or a celebrity. They usually use themselves and a celebrity to help further their political cause. Cyber criminals use fake audio to request campaign contributions. In some cases, a supposed candidate may ask for a donation and tell you to push a number on your phone which directs you to a representative, reports ID Watchdog, a consumer site from Equifax. Or an actual human may call, encouraging you to donate. You may also receive emails or texts with donation links. As with bogus voter registration links, donation links can also be phishing scams. Sometimes the solicitations come from a fake political action committees, PACs. The FBI defines scam PACs as fraudulent political action committees designed to reroute political contributions for personal gain, which is a federal crime. Broomer compares their tactics to phony charities that raise money following natural disasters. They frequently seem credible and often employ high-pressure emotional appeals. Ways to protect yourself? If you want to donate to candidates, go to their certified state site. Don't answer any phone calls. Don't click on any links in any email or text, even if it's from somebody you recognize or you might think is reputable, Broomer says. Someone could have taken over their account and started spamming you. Don't rely on caller ID. Scammers can impersonate a political campaign phone number through a tactic known as spoofing. Another reason not to answer calls. Cyber criminals only need a few seconds to record your voice and use AI to create a dialogue that could evade authentications with your financial institution or credit card company. Visit the Federal Election Commission's website and search to see if you've been targeted. Then, once you assert that, go by a fake PAC, contact your local FBI field office and ask to speak to an election crimes coordinator. Fake surveys, petitions, and polls. Opinion polls are almost as common as campaign rallies during election season. but be careful when participating in the survey or signing a petition. The process often seems innocuous. Someone contacts you by phone, email, or text, or in person to ask a few questions and have you answer them. Or you might receive an urgent email, often featuring a well-known politician's name and photo, asking you to sign a petition and make a small contribution, notes the former Federal Election Commission Chair Ann M. Ravel. The problem is when you're asked to provide personal information such as your birth date and email address, the scammers may offer a gift card or another prize as an incentive to participate in the survey, including you need to provide them with your social security number, home address, or other information. And of course, your credit card number to cover taxes and shipping costs for your prize. So how do you protect yourself? A legitimate survey may ask you how to plan to vote along with your political affiliation, and surveyors may request demographic information such as age or race, notes Equifax's ID watchdog, but don't share personal or specific information. Age is one thing, your birth date is another. Decline to provide your name, address, and email address, social security, or your driver's license number. As with other election scams, don't click on survey links from unsolicited emails and texts. And if someone is conducting a survey or a poll that offers a prize, don't participate. Real political polls rarely offer prizes for participation, and none would. So, now that you know how to protect yourself, make sure you put these practices into your daily regime. And remember, if you receive anything that doesn't look right, or your gut tells you, oh no, stay away, listen to your gut. And thank you for staying around to listen how you can deal with the red flags and prevent yourself from being sucker punched into providing these scammers with your hard-earned money. Thank you again for coming and listening to our program today. You can see this at youtube.com/PWR Network PW Talk Radio, at the website https://passionateworldtalkradio.com/blog. You can also go over to all of our social media, including facebook.com/passionateworldradio. And we want to tell you that this show is sponsored by Ruby, RUBI.ai. Please go over and take a look. Try out the program for yourself. https://esc73.try, Ruby, RUBI.ai. And also by the podcast obstacle training course. Please go over to https://education.passionateworldtalkradio.com/masterclass and see what you can do about getting your voice heard, no matter who you are and what you're talking about. Thank you very much for listening. And remember, please join us next Wednesday for Scam DamNation with your host, Lillian S. Cauldwell.